Alrighty guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode with Monster Angling. Guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate all the support on the channel, and this video is going to be about how to make the most or how to capitalize the most while you're fishing for pike with tip-ups. We are going to be covering a bunch of different tips and tricks that can make your guys' tip-up fishing experience that much better. Now, these are tips that have worked for me for years, and they've helped me, and I've benefited so much from these simple things, and I promise you guys these are gonna help you catch a lot more fish. So let's get started. What is tip-up fishing? So if you guys don't know, tip-ups are basically a simple device that I'll insert a picture of right here, but you guys probably know what they are. But it's basically a device that allows you to leave your set line, set bait alone, usually with a smelt or a minnow or some type of bait on it, and you're basically leaving that thing alone until a big old pike comes around, goes and eats that bait, and all of a sudden your flag shoots up and you run over and then pull up the fish. And it's not like you have a reel, guys. You're hand bombing this guy in too. So first of all, guys, we are gonna go simple and talk about what line we use. Do not use normal line on tip-ups because it's gonna hurt. You're gonna hurt your hands. You're gonna cut your hands. But the thing is with Dacron ice line is that, or Dacron tip-up line, is that it's thick like rope, and that allows you to hand bomb it in without you burning your hands. So if you guys haven't already, go pick up some tip-up line for your tip-ups. Now, once you have your line and your tip-up, a great way to set kind of what depth you're in is with a bead. Now, this is kind of hard to explain, but I'll show you guys some footage here in a bit of kind of what I mean. But basically, if you have your line and you have a bead, you can basically buy them fish in Old Cabela's, whatever store. It's not really anything super special. It's just a bead with a hole in it. But basically, you thread your line through that hole, bring it up, and put it back around again. So basically, you pull that tight and you have a bead sliding on your line. So basically, what you do is once you figure out what depth you're in, you can even clip on a weight if you don't have a depth finder. Find out what depth you're in. Maybe take it 1.5 feet off the bottom is usually where I go. And basically, you can set your line once where you want it and you don't have to change it. That's especially great on a cold day. Now, if you're fishing shallow water, which I do in the spring, you don't necessarily need that bead because it might get stuck on the line. If you're only fishing 3 feet of water, you should be able to see the bottom of the lake anyway, so it's not too bad. But when you're fishing, you know, middle of February, when you're fishing 12 to 16 feet of water, that's gonna help you a lot mark your depth. So another big one, guys, too, is have all your tools ready for when you're getting ready to go pike fishing. Now, some people use the normal pliers. I like to use the pistol grip pliers just because they're kind of easier to deal with in my opinion. But basically have your jaw spreaders, your pliers, both those ready in case a pike does end up taking it deeper, because a lot of time when you're fishing and it's a bit colder outside, that fish doesn't have long before its tail freezes, its fin freeze, its eyes freeze, so you have to deal with that fish as fast as you can. Number 4, guys, is kind of what depth you're fishing in. Now, like I was saying before, it really depends what time of year you're fishing into. Now, if you're fishing February, those fish are not going to be staged for the spawn yet, so they're going to be a little bit deeper. But when you're in the later parts of March, when those fish are staging for their spawns, they're going to be up in creeks, in shallower bays, and that's when where you're going to find them. Now, sometimes I'm fishing like 2 feet of water, guys, under the ice, and when you bring up the fish, you know, it's covered in mud. Like, that's how shallow you're fishing in. But it basically, as it warms up, as you get later into the year, those fish are going to move shallower. So just keep that in mind. Don't be fishing 15 feet of water, 16 feet of water in March, because that's not where the fish are going to be. They're going to be up in little streams in the backs of bays getting ready to lay their eggs and spawn. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. So guys, I kind of showed you guys, or was telling you guys before, what a normal tip-up is. Now, this is kind of an alternative to the normal tip-up, the traditional tip-up, and this isn't a very old device, or it's kind of a newer invention, but here she is. So this is the iFish Pro. This is actually the 2.0 tip up, which they rebuilt this design, and it's actually insulated on the bottom. So it keeps your holes clear, you know, it keeps them from freezing up. But anyway, guys, this is how it works. So basically this little guy pops out right here. This is the rod holder, but basically what this device allows you to do is it actually allows you to fight the fish on a rod. Now that is never thought of when the traditional tip ups were made, but this actually, you put your rod in here. Now I'll show you guys a better definition next time we go pike fishing, or a better example of how this works, but I'm just kind of showing you guys, or trying to show you guys without a rod. But so basically you put this little guy on your line right here. Now you thread your line through, and then you put a bobber stop on your line. So basically this acts, that bobber stop acts like a stop, and as soon as that pike pulls down, or anything you're fishing for, actually you can fish pretty much any species you want with this, but basically when they pull it down, it actually releases this little plastic piece right here, and it actually pulls right here. So this is basically how it works. So basically you have your line going down here, and when that thing pulls, it goes down and your fillet goes up. So you know you have a fish on when your fillet goes up. You go over, you keep your bail open, but basically you go over to your hole, see if there's a fish on there, and you can set the hook, and you can fight the fish on a rod, which is super neat. This is a great invention. There's nothing really else like it on the market except for jaw jackers, but with pike you don't really need a jaw jacker, because you don't really need anything to set the hook, because those pike, it's almost better to let them just take the hook and swallow it on their own, or I've found that anyway. But I am determined to get you guys a ton of content this winter, and pretty much all I've been catching is little dink 5-inch perch. It seems like it's the only thing that's biting right now. I don't want to make videos of little perch like that. I'd rather show you guys some big fat pike. So anyway, guys, I did film a little bit on the ice. What was that, 2 days ago now, and it kind of goes a bit more in depth, kind of shows you guys right on the ice what I was doing. So I am going to show you guys that now, and then I'll see you guys for the outro. Okay guys, so I'm gonna clean up my tip up here. Not clean up, I'm gonna take it out and kind of just show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna angle this camera up a bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna check my tip up here. Now, a tip up, if you guys don't know, this little mechanism right here, I don't know, that's not really a mechanism, but it's just a little pin thing. And when a fish, I'll show you guys like this. When a fish pulls the line, it pops the tip up. Now, what you want to do is you don't want to let your tip ups freeze onto the ice. You want to let your holes freeze, because it just makes it that much harder to land the fish. Sometimes the tip ups freeze up. Both those things can happen. So to avoid that, we put a styrofoam pad on there. I'll show you guys kind of right here. So basically, we bought these at Walmart. You can pretty much get them anywhere. I know they make like kids ones too, but basically we cut these into circles so we can just slide this under here. And basically what it does is it just keeps this guy off the ice. So basically your hole's gonna be a lot more insulated. And if you can see right here on the big camera, that hole didn't freeze all day. It's minus 14 out right now, and it didn't freeze all day. So that is what that insulated pad for you, or would do for you. I know there was some guys fishing over there. They had to check their holes all the time because they didn't have insulated pads on. So as you can see, this Dacron tip-up line does get iced up. When you're fishing when it's really cold out, that can be a bit of a problem to clean up, but it's not the worst thing. So, because it'll melt in the water once you put it down. It's not a big deal. So as you guys can see, my bead's right here. So I'm not gonna reel up past the bead because it doesn't fit through this little loop here. So what I'm gonna do is plant this off to the side, and I'm just going to bring this up and try to keep it from getting too tangled up. So when you have a fish on, you want to keep that line away from you. If you're fishing in wind, you kind of guide the line behind you. You don't want to just all be around the hole, because if that fish runs, it can get tangled up, and that's just not good. So basically, we are running a little, I think this is a Cisco, I believe. We bought these at Cabela's. We have our own. We're saving them for March Madness anyway, but basically we just hook this guy upside down. This is the one that got bit today. It's good to kind of experiment with what you're running, how you're hanging your bait, all that stuff. Not every day you're gonna have a great day of pike fishing. We had one bite today. Sometimes that's all you're gonna get. So you wanna up your chances by doing the most things you can right, so you can capitalize on that one chance. The reality is that you can't catch fish every time. We tried our best and not every day is gonna work out. So, but pike fishing, absolutely great, strongly recommend it. It is colder today, like I've said multiple times, but you have to treat those fish properly, guys. You know, it wasn't that cold today. Like, it's cold today for sure. If it was any colder, we would have drilled a live well. If I would have caught a fish today, pop that hook out, send it on its way. No measuring board. Unless it's really big, then we would have maybe found out a way. But dunk your measuring boards so they're wet, so you don't freeze the fish to the board. That's a very important thing. You want to give that chance, or that fish, the best chance at survival, right? And if you do it properly, then you can almost guarantee it. But like I said, live wells are a great way to be able to handle the fish, get your pictures, and then send them back healthy. Alright guys, this is part 3 of the video, and we're going to keep this short and sweet because we have a lot of stuff to cover in this section, and I want to try to keep this video not too long, so let's cut to the chase. First of all guys, we're going to be talking about what the best bait for pike is. Now, it doesn't really matter. Those pike are just looking for a big piece of meat down there, and that can be basically anything from a Cisco to a herring to an anchovy, basically anything, just a big chunk of meat. You know, I have heard stories of people saying, well, Cisco's and suckers are more natural, so the pike might like that more. Yes, I can kind of agree why that would be the case, but honestly guys, I've caught a lot of fish on anchovies and herring. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't really pay too much attention to it, to be honest with you guys. So basically anything that's bigger and that's a big slab of meat down there, a pike's gonna go nuts for. So I don't think it really matters too much. The second one that I'm gonna discuss with you guys is what's the best hook to run on a tip up. Now, for me personally, I've had very good luck on quick strike rigs before, guys. And if you don't know what that is, I'll put a picture right here. But basically there's 2 treble hooks on a wire, and they kind of run down like a Y, and you hook it, one in the front of the fish and kind of one in the back, and it basically hangs horizontally, or you can make it, and that's usually how I like to run my baits, horizontal. But that I find when those pike are really feeding, they can inhale that hook, and it can actually be pretty hard to get out. Another reason why the double treble hooks can be not so good is that you have to deal with that when you're landing the fish. You are at risk of getting a hook in your hand, and when that pike is flopping around, you can seriously get a hook deep in your hand. And that is exactly what happened last spring, guys. We were fishing with a guy named Dean Krupa. He took a hook in the hand very deep, and it was not good, guys. It went right through the skin. I'll actually put a picture right here. It was a big fish actually that we got in, but it did end up hooking him pretty bad. So, you know, that's just something to think of. What I usually run is a circle hook, like a size 8 Gamakatsu circle hook, and yes, you might lose a couple more fish. Now, this video is kind of to help you guys get the most fish, so don't take my word for it. If you're new to this, definitely go with a quick strike rig, but you just have to be careful. But a circle hook is going to be a lot less hard on the fish, and it's going to be a lot easier on your hands too. So just something to consider. I've used both. I've caught fish on both. They're both good, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's number 2. Now guys, for the third one, we're going to talk about something that you can do to improve your hookup percentage, or give you a better chance at hooking up with a fish. I see a lot of people, when they see a flag go up, they run for it, and as soon as they get there, they just freaking reef that line. Now, that is not the best way. That is not how you're going to catch the most fish, guys. What you want to do is basically, you see that flag up, you can run over to it if you want. I usually run because I'm excited, but don't set the hook right away. Wait until you see that fish move, first of all, because you know there's a fish on there. And as soon as they stop and then they start moving again, stop them in their tracks, first of all, so it gets that hook in the side of their mouth. And then you can give it a bit more of a pull to get that hook into the meat. And that is gonna help you guys catch so many more fish. That's like one of the biggest things that you guys can take away from this video is do not set the hook too early. Let that fish inhale the bait a little bit, and then you guys can give it a bit of a hook set. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but get that skin hook, get into the meat a bit, and then you guys' hookup percentage is gonna be so much better. Now guys, this is another tip that I've learned over the years, and this is gonna help you a lot. Now it doesn't seem like anything big, but shovel around your holes. Now, there can be a couple different reasons why you like to do this. First of all, it's because when I'm fighting a fish, I'm usually on my knees, and I don't like to kneel on sharp, pokey ice. But another reason that I like to do this is because your line, your tip-up line, can get caught on that ice so easily, get stuck on the line, and so clear all the ice around your hole, and it just makes it so much more easier to deal with when you're around that hole. You know, you don't have to kneel on any sharp, pokey pieces of ice, and it's just so much easier when your line doesn't get caught on the ice there, because that can be a big problem when you're tip-up fishing. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me that you guys have made it all the way to the end here. And there's going to be a lot of pike fishing here in the next couple months, guys. I know I've been absolutely on the struggle bus, guys. You probably heard me before, but I have not been able to catch a fish. And I only have 2 days a week to do it. I'm in school 5 days a week. So it's kind of tough to find time when the weather's cooperating, when the fish are cooperating to get a video. But I am going to be going absolutely hard to get as much content done for you guys, whether it's absolutely great fishing, whether the fishing's a bit tougher. I'm going to be making videos hopefully on more of a regular basis, guys. So just bear with me here. Guys, I have some big plans here in the next couple months. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next fishing adventure. Let's go.